What was your reaction to what Darryn Peterson said after the game last night?
He's entitled to his opinion. It's his life. And he's coming to the defense of his own self, which I respect. I've never met him. I don't know him. Most people that's covering the NBA can say the same thing. But what he has to understand as a young man growing into manhood is that your actions speak louder than your words. And the reality is that you've missed 11 or 12 games in your first collegiate season for stuff like cramps and the flu. And you've let coaches know, or Coach Self know, according to reports, minutes before a game that you couldn't go. And people are deducing you're going from 30, 35 games potentially in a collegiate season to 82 games during a regular season and beyond if it's the postseason, and you're already showing an inability to be relied upon in terms of your availability. That's reality. Those are facts. We don't know you at all. So guess what? All we're going by is what we see. Well, why the hell have you shown us that? Why the hell have you shown Bill Self that? Why have you shown the Kansas program, the Kansas faithful that? Why have you been such an unreliable commodity for them? Well, you're saying, okay, it's legitimate injuries. Did you know, Darryn Peterson, that there are reports out there that the NIL was supposed to get, you didn't get all of it? And because you didn't get all of it, you said, hey, okay, since I didn't get all of it, guess what? If you're going to give me half of it, hypothetically, then I'm going to give you a half-ass effort. There are people out there that have said that. Vinny knows it. I know it. This is what it said. We don't know if it's true or not. I'm in no way saying it's true. I'm saying that narrative has been put out there about you. What are you going to do about it? It's your future. It's not ours. We got a job, okay? Whatever that is, all right? We're doing our job. What are you going to do about it? This is your reputation. We're looking at A.J. DeBonza at BYU that shows up every game, ready to ball. We're looking at Cameron Boozer at Duke that shows up every game, ready to ball. We're seeing constant college. It's Flemings. It's Acuff Jr. The list goes on and on everywhere you turn. We're seeing cats that are available night in, night out, ready to ball. And the person that's projected as being the #1 overall pick because he's considered a superstar talent potentially, a generational kind of talent from a guard spot, which is you, Darryn Peterson, is missing 11, 12 games as a freshman? You just got there. You understand? You haven't even had a chance to accumulate bad breath, and already you've been missing games. What the hell is that about? That's you. So it's not, I don't know this kid from a can of paint. I'm not rooting against him. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm sincerely rooting for him, and I think I can speak on behalf of an awful lot of people in our business. Nobody rooting against you. Nobody enjoys saying this stuff. We don't enjoy having these questions about you. We want to see this electrifying talent that we hear that you had, that we've seen you put on display from time to time. We want to see that show up. We don't want the #1 team in the nation in Arizona coming in to your backyard to play against you, and your team has to beat them without you because about 5 to 10 minutes before the game, you told staff you can't go. What? Nobody want to hear that. We want to see you play. That's what this is about. And the fact that there's questions and skepticism, whether it's you or it's your camp and the people who are influencing the decisions that you make, that is coming across as being the reason why you are unavailable more than your health. So if you want to change the narrative, speak up, speak out, and most importantly, exhaust yourself in every way possible to make sure you are available. Because the television shows, the podcasts, and everybody in between, the radio shows, they're not going away, my brother. They're not going away. What they're talking about you now, this is going to be the storyline and the narrative that's attached to you wherever you go until you make sure that you are available to do what you do best, and that is ball in spectacular fashion. That is a fact, whether you like it or not.
It's a tricky thing when you talk about college athletes because 8 or 19 years old, and they're experiencing something for the very first time. I'm very careful about sometimes the narratives. I remember talking to somebody about Anthony Edwards in college, and they said, we don't know if this kid likes basketball. Can you imagine someone saying that about Anthony Edwards now with everything that we know now? The information is so limited, right? But one thing, I talked to two GMs last night, two GMs who possibly could, right, in the lottery or the play-in and everything else. And one gave me this quote. He said, if he's tapping out on minor ailments now, what do you think he'll do when he gets to the league? Those are the questions that you will have to answer when you get into those interview rooms, when you get into those meeting rooms. Like, there are 4 or 5 franchise potentially changing players in this draft, and you want to be able to separate and differentiate yourself from your competition. It's not just you, and these teams are going to be making $100 million investments in you. What they want to know is, are you making these decisions? Is your camp making these decisions? How much of a competitor are you? Are you in this with us, or are you in this for yourself? And when you're 19 years old, a part of me sits back and says, man, that's a lot for a kid to answer. But the other part says, this is college athletics now. This is NIL. These are pro athletes playing in college now, so the stakes are a lot higher. It feels unfair, but this is the covenant that they've entered through NIL, through all these things, and you have to be accountable. Now the question is, what advice are you getting? Who are you getting it from? Is it in your absolute best interest? Because as a competitor, if you're out there, you play. It's not like college load management unless you have some debilitating injury that prevents you from playing. And if you have a debilitating injury, you probably don't have a long career in front of you. So if it is a real injury, you have other questions that are bigger than, are you playing the requisite amount of minutes for Kansas right now? If it's you are being managed, like Stephen A. alludes to, then there's bigger questions about your judgment.
Well, and the thing about it is, listen, it's unfortunate, but he needs to know that narrative is out there, okay? And let's understand where this comes from. Let me educate this brother about the world he's going into. You know, a lot of times we talk about these rags to riches stories, and we talk about, you know, the desolate environment upon which folks come from, and then ultimately you get to a place like that and you shine, and obviously you accumulate riches beyond your wildest dreams, right? Well, you know what? In the process of all of that, here's an analogy that a lot of people lose. We see people throughout the streets of America dying in the streets for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. What do you think corporations are going to do to protect millions, if not billions? Just answer that logical question. You have a situation where you're projected to be the #1 overall pick. Do you know that it will cost people jobs to miss on that pick? What if you drafted Darryn Peterson and he wasn't reliable, but A.J. DeBonza shows up as the #2 pick and he's available every night? Now, it's not a good analogy because look at Greg Oden when he was drafted #1 and Kevin Durant drafted #2. Greg Oden worked his butt off. He worked hard. He cared, etc. He just was injured, period. He was injured, period. But it was a disastrous pick, you know, for the #1 team because you passed on Kevin Durant because we see what Kevin Durant has become as an All-American out of Texas, okay? You can't afford to make those mistakes. This is why kids need to understand to protect their investment, which ranges in the hundreds of millions of dollars. You're going to have people spying on them. They're going to find out your medical history. They're going to check on your proclivities, your habits, what you like, what you don't like. They're going to find out what girl you want to mess with. They're going to find out how you like to party. They're going to find out whether or not you can't stay off the weed. They're going to sit up there and get on you about if